Shalom, my friends. Shalom, Elevation Tribe. Welcome to my Sukkah. It's a pleasure to be here, have you all with me and the fam together. It's the third night of Sukkot. I hope you're having a spectacular Sukkah like we are. It's the night of the Spizen Ilayin, the special guest, the special energy of all the Spizen come in. It's the night where Yaakov Avinu, Jacob, our forefather, enters. And he is very much a core energy of Sukkah itself. The pasuk says, the line from the Torah says, Yaakov Nasa, he went to Sukkah. He went to Sukkah itself. That's what it says. It's very interesting what that means. Hello, Scout. Shalom Avracha. So, Yaakov is the property of always seeing through the externality into the internality, seeing through the physical and seeing the spiritual core alive and awake and illuminating the physical vessel, which is really the core property of Sukkah itself. I want to share with you something that I want you to experiment with your Sukkah. I haven't taught this really publicly. It's something I've been playing around for a while personally. There's something called the Merkava, and the Merkava is the Ma'aser Merkava is one of the two main biggest secrets and Kabbalistic teachings of our tradition. There's something called, the concept called the Merkava, the chariot, whatever that means, but there's a kavana that we learned called the Merkava from the Kitvei Ari, which is the secrets of it discussed way before that, which is going through meditating on the Sfirot in the order, including the divine names, and the Nekudot, the certain name of Hashem, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, and certain the dots that make sounds, pronounce that name in a certain order, which is really the structure of human consciousness and the structure of the Tzelem Elokim, the physical body. And it's a wonderful meditation, very energetically potent meditation, which I use frequently, that I was taught by a holy Yid, rabbi, teacher, sage that I know. And he said he does that multiple times each day. He goes, sits on a little Buddhist meditation chair that his student brought him, and he re-energizes and reconnects by doing that multiple times each day for a few minutes. Shalom Brian, good moyed to wherever you are in the world. So what I want to share with you tonight is something I want you to experiment with. This was something that was taught to me, and taught to me in a deeper way, and something I played around with to devise myself. And especially at this time of year, 3 days into Sukkot, I'm usually feeling energetically wiped at best, if not, the beginning of getting sick after Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. The physical, emotional, spiritual energy you pour in very much depletes my body and takes its toll. And this morning I was in shul, and I was just like, I wasn't in shul. Physically I was there, and emotionally, energetically I was like gone. I remembered this old tool that I haven't used for a while. It just popped into my head, which is always a good sign, what pops into your head at the right time. I was like, oh, why don't you try this? And then just in a few minutes I was like amazingly energized. So I'm giving this to you as my R&D friends out there, Team Elevation and Elevation Tribe, that I want you to experiment with me doing this technique now. This is a very simple way I was playing around of giving a more physical embodiment to the power of the meditation of the Merkava, because a lot of people today need more kind of physical ways to connect to things rather than keeping it only mental. And I try to integrate the hand energy because, hands-on healing is very popular today, but we have explicit sources already from the prophets, the Nevi'im in Tanakh themselves, to all the way down through history, the power of the Kohanim giving the blessings, what the Arizal teaches on the subject, about how the hands channel the moichin, because we have 5 fingers, and 5 fingers is because together that's 10 of the Esif Sfirat, the 10 spheres of consciousness of a higher soul get channeled down through the hands in a very clear way. There was someone in this group who was telling us he had the power to do that, was awakened. I forgive me, I forget his name right now, and then we'll be meeting with him and talking with him soon. I hope to share that with you all. And students of the Ben Ish Chai, they had a Masorah tradition of how you had to heal by putting your attention in your mind in different parts of the body, and as you gave a bracha And as you put your hand on the sick part, and with you, I'm going to show you the exercise. It's very, very simple. Now, there's a little Kabbalistic background you need to know to do this, but we're going to play a game that we're going to pretend you don't need to know it. I'm going to talk about anyway, and the game we're going to play all together is, as I'm talking about, if you know the stuff I'm saying, because you know the basic stuff of Kabbalah that I'm going to be saying, then just get it and understand it. And if you don't, I want you to just trust with all my heart that there's a truth in what I'm saying, and whatever he's saying, that's what you want to channel into. Whatever he's saying, that's what you want to connect to. Don't say, I didn't get it, I don't understand it, or what does that mean, or if that's true. The trust itself is a form of Amunah, and Amunah is faith. It's faith consciousness, and Amunah is Mushach. Amunah will draw that, and if you just believe the truth in that, then that will give you access to the energy, even if your lower mind, the chetzonis of your mind, externality of your intellect doesn't quite understand or doesn't understand it at all. So as I talk this out, I'm going to drop in the Kabbalistic, some of the basic level Kabbalistic information, and I just want you to take it at face value and just go, okay, that's true, and that's part of the body of wisdom of a wonderful heritage, and I want to connect to that. I want some of that good stuff, and I hope to understand them. Remain open to it energetically, and therefore you will open yourself to the energy within it. So what we're basically going to do is we're going to use our hands, and we're going to basically do a brief Merkava meditation, but using our hands to help us focus our mind. So if you've ever done any energy work, again, this is explicit in Torah, and one day on the online source, but we have hundreds of Makoros on this stuff, and I'm going to put them up there slowly. Straight after the Chagim, I'm going to start uploading even more and more Makoros we have ready to show you. So just take a leap of faith with me right now that this is all Torah. I just want you to put your hands, rub your hands a little just to get some focus and das and attention on the hands. You'll see us do this in some of the mastery program, and some of the advanced classes. I want you to just separate your palms together, which you see a lot of kind of Reiki stuff does this. I'm not doing anything, uniquely Jewish yet. And I just want you to feel the energy. If you keep your hands in this position right now, you will shortly feel the energy between that. That's the natural shefa. This is what's called das, is mispashet. Consciousness spreads out through the yadayim. Rav Nachman says that multiple times, okay? So here we go. The Amunah, the faith consciousness comes out through the hands. So here we go. So if you keep your hand there and you just imagine that there's some energy of consciousness, not energy healing, there's no energy, it's pure consciousness. And you begin to feel there's a pressure or there's some flow or something between your hands. And take some time with that. If you don't quite feel it, you bring your hands together. And I'm going to ask you, if you can, do the meditation we're about to do within your sukkah. It's really going to add a lot of potency to it. The sukkah in the Kitveri is called the makif. Soivev kol olmin. That means it's the energy that surrounds us that's bigger than us. And what the lulav and esragi is the energy which we bring from the around us, the spiritual energy and potential around us, and we draw it into our heart and into our being and into our spine and into our eyes and into our lips. The ravas and the hadassim and the lulav is the spine, and the esrog is the tarag, is the heart, is the yearning of the heart. So the avoda, the work of the sukkah, is we're in a very powerful spiritual, energetic field, if you will. And what we're trying to do is draw that into us during this holy time and bring everything into that field and live within that field so that we can so we can absorb its energy. And the two movements that we do is when we shake the lulav, according to the Kitveri, the first time you shake it, I do it all the times, but the first time you shake the lulav, the Abba Minim, and do the Nenuim each day, you're supposed to do it within the sukkah, and you basically draw out from you the negativity. You draw out from you the negativity from each side, with each dimension, for love, for fear, for ego, etc. And you draw it out, and then you kind of like basically throw it into that electric light and energy around you. So you're disposing of the negative, but then you draw in the new healed, elevated version of that love, the new healed, elevated version of that fear or that awe. So you're getting rid of the old and releasing it to this energy field, and then you're drawing the new positive version of that. So if you can handle this meditation, if you have a sukkah to go into and try within the sukkah, and be in mind that we want to take the makifim, the higher levels of revelation, Ruach HaKodesh, this Shefa Elaki, And we want to draw that into our being through this meditation. Again, and holding in mind that that is your intent, whether you understand it enough, will allow you to plug into it in your consciousness. Just hold it, realize that right now. So here we go. Once you have a little sense within your hands, or even if you do not, even if you don't, doesn't matter. Choose and believe it. You ready? What I want you to do is we're going to go through Chachma, Bina, and Das. Keta, Chachma, Bina, and Das. So the 4 higher levels of consciousness, often called Moichin. Then we're going to go through the 2 levels of the heart. One's called Chagat and Nahi. Right? Chagat is the love, fear, and his Paris, which we could say is covered, which is sense of self, or it's not really accurate. Pride, if you will. Let's keep it simple for now without going into more detailed descriptions. And then we're going into the Nahi. The Nahi is the lower, the upper part of the heart. Here is the top part of the body. So what we're going to call the Chagat, Chachma, Chesed, Gevur, and Tiferes. And then Netzach, Chod, and Yesod, we're going to use the lower part of the torso down here. Right. And then finally, we're going to use the mouth as the Malchus. So really what we're doing is we're breaking down the 10 Sfirot into just a few core elements grouped together. And we're going to give each one within our consciousness a little influx of Shefa, of Chias, of Das, of Moichin. And in Kabbalah, you can do this just by thinking of the names associated with each one. But right now, we're going to do it together. You ready? I want you to take your hands very simply, and I want you to shine it, so to speak, shine it, and whether you feel it or not is irrelevant at the beginning. I want you to keep it focused just above your head. This is actually where the kippur is on men. It's when the man put on tefillin right there, where the skull splits so is still open when the baby is born. And I want you to shine into that place. And this is, people who are into chakras like to say this is the crown chakra. I cannot take responsibility for that, but it is called the crown. It is called Keta. It is called the crown. And this is where the supernatural consciousness of the soul, which is surrounding us, begins to impinge and interact with our inner consciousness, our conscious mind, so to speak. First, we're just going to give Chias and Shefa through our hands. And we're going to keep that focus on there. And we're going to hold it there for even just like 30 seconds, a minute. Now, already when I do that, there's an abundance of energy that awakens within that right now that I can feel. If you feel it or if you don't, it totally doesn't matter. It totally doesn't matter. I'm choosing right now to share that with whoever is watching this, that they can open up and feel it very easily. So we're going to hold it there. There is a kavana, if you're into some of the kavanas, to hold in mind for Keta right now. And it's the Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey with a kametz under each one. So it's Yud and kametz, and then Hey and kametz, and then Vav and kametz, and Hey and kametz. If you know what that means, you can visualize it, but don't get caught in the intellectual work. You just hear me say it and go, okay, whatever, I'll have what he said, whatever he's having, fine. That's totally fine. Then when you're ready, you're going to now bring that down. We're going now to Chokhmah. You can take much longer than what I just did. Brian's feeling it. That's fine. Great. So now we're going to go down to Chokhmah. We're going to use the eyes for Chokhmah. So we're going to put that over our eyes, and we're just going to shine that into the eyes. Now, we're really not just holding in mind the eyes, though, from many mystical sources all the way back to the Zohar and beyond. The eyes are the windows of Chachma. The perception of the eyes means you see everything, the whole vision, the unity of perception, the higher awareness, the higher consciousness, the koyach ma, the sense of unity, the interconnectivity between all things. It's also purifying our vision, purifying our sight. We're just holding that over the eyes, Chachma of higher consciousness, of super consciousness. This is the Malach. We're just imagining that white light. If it helps you to visualize divine light coming down from above through Keta, through your hands, and just giving awareness, giving consciousness. When we put our das on, empowers that consciousness of Chachma. Try that right now. You may want to hold it there for 30 seconds, a minute, sometimes more. And yes, there is a kavana there. It's Yud and a Petach. It's just a straight line. Yud and a straight line. And then a Hey and a straight line. Petach, Vav, Petach. And another Hey, Petach. Pesach, depending on where you're from. Fine. And now we're going to Bina, the logical, intellectual mind. This is not our enemy. This is very much our friend. And we're going to do that on the ears for all the reasons in Kabbalah. Toshma as opposed to Tochazi. And we're just going to we use it in a healthy, balanced, integrated way. And the ears that we should hear holy things, no lashon hara, negativity we've absorbed. Just let that melt away. And my mind, my intellectual mind should feel calm and focused. And that's what should happen now. Here we go. And we're just giving energy and attention to that. And we're letting that happen slowly, slowly, slowly. And we're just channeling down that light from above. It helps you to visualize things. What you can do is just to visualize the infinite light of Hashem coming down through the Ilamis, Vadam Kanman, Silas, Bria Yitzira, Sia, into the Sukkah, into our consciousness from the infinite Or Ein Sof, down in through your hands into your Bina. Great. Now we're going to the neck. And the neck is Das, Da'at. And the neck is Da'at. And I'm just shining onto Da'at and I awaken the Atzmi, the Atzmius, Havrachamim, Yishavadas, the mindful self. I'm just giving that energy. And there's Das to Chasadim, Das to Gavuras. There's 2 dimensions of that, and that's fine. But just the normal aspect of Das. I'm allowing my Das to feel very miyusha, very calm and settled. Aspect of Menuchas and Nefesh. That just happens. I don't really have to think too hard about how that happens or why that happens. That just happens. Sharing that with you. Just shining that directly to the neck. Flowing directly to the neck, and it goes to the right place. Just the reference points you're making, cue your soul that knows this language just to get the energy, get the tune up, get the shefa, get the bracha, get the influx that it needs, whatever's perfect for it. You can hold that for longer if you like it or need it. Now we go down to the Chagat, Chesed, Gevurah Tiferes. Segel, Shva, and Cholam. Chesed is kindness, love, which is on the right side of our chest, the right arm, the right hand. Chesed is Yud, the Segel, Hey Segel, and Vav Segel, and Hey Segel. Just keep it there, let it do its work, expanding the energy and light into the chest to feel calm, to feel warmth, to feel love, to feel at peace. Gevurah is in that same threesome. Yud, Shva, Hey, Shva, and Vav, Shva, and Hey, Shva. If you know that, if not, just say, yeah, I'm connecting all the depth of my being and body, mind, heart, and soul, all the levels of my soul to whatever things he just said. And then Tiferes, the middle of balance and harmony, also in the upper triad of the torso. Tiferes is Yud with a Cholam, Hey with a Cholam, Vav with a Cholam, and then Hey with a Cholam. Cholam. Love, fear, healthy fear, and balance and harmony of them both. Just giving that triad that fills and expands in my heart. It fills and expands in my heart. Opens up my heart to the power of Sukkot. Leishev Sukkah, to live in a Sukkah, is the same oisia, same letters as Yesh Lev Sukkah. I have a heart in the Sukkah. As my heart is cleansed, I strip out the negative, I shake out the negative, and I draw back in towards the heart, the positive. I find my heart in the Sukkah. Lulav, when I shake the lulav. Lulav, says the Tikkun Zohar, is loy lev. The person who shakes a lulav, to them, is a heart. That's exactly what the letters say. Keep my hands there, just shining in, shining in. Don't try too hard, let it happen naturally. And finally moving to the torso, the lower half of the torso, lower half of the torso, Netzach Chod Yesod, Netzach Chod Yesod, you can look these up. All the limbs, all the core parts of our body that function, the lower half of our torso, including our sexual organs, they're all included in this stage. I'm shining them out with balance and harmony. These are also how I interact with the world. Because sometimes I need to move forward and be more dominant. Sometimes I need to hold back and sit quietly and wait and not act. Shevi al taseh. It's called hoid. And the balance of those two, the perfect interaction, the ebb and the flow, the ratzu v'shav. I'm just holding on to that feeling right now. I'm mindful that it's come in through the keta. It's gone to the chachma, to the bina, to the da'as, to the love and the awe and the balance and harmony. And now that can come down in and settle my anxiety, whatever I carry in the pit of my stomach, and release it and release it and release it. Doing great. You're doing great. And as I'm doing that right now, I'm letting that in. A lot of noise around me. It's totally fine. Doesn't affect me at all. I'm going to the last one. The last one is Malchus. Malchus is the outer rim of the whole body, the point I interact with the world. And now we're going to use Malchus Peh, the mouth itself. When I speak and finally express the final revelation, what started as Sof Maseh b'machshava techila, the first thought, the first energy that sparked into my consciousness, it's come down to all my being, come into the lower parts of my torso, and now comes out through the mouth, shine into the mouth. You see that going into your mouth, down your throat, into your inner being, and out through every pore of the body. Perfecting my Malchus, perfecting my capacity to speak, to express, to act, to deliver, to fully manifest, to fully realize. Inhale that through your mouth. And let it flow in to every cell of your body now. All your hair, every molecule in the body, every limb, your nails, your feet, flowing through completely. Guess what happens when you finish with that? Take longer, 30 seconds, a minute, again and again, then go back to the beginning. This is very much the important part. Now take everything you've just done in a reciprocal current, take it back up and start again. Now with that increased energy, give expansion to Keta. Yud Kametz, Hey Kametz, and Vav Kametz, Hey Kametz. Feel that even stronger and more. And realize you're B'Tselem Elokim. As the Mekubalim, the mystics would do, you can now see the Olam of Atzilus and focus on the Keta there. That's what you're connecting to when you're charging yourself. You're charging the highest spiritual world. That's the power of our neshama, the power of Klal Yisrael. What we empower in the Olam Katan empowers that in the Olam Gadol, and it turns on Keta and revelation consciousness in the higher world above, and allows that to flow into the whole of the physical world, and every level to all people everywhere. Empower that Keta consciousness. Then when you're ready, a couple minutes, go into Chochmah. Turn on Chochmah V'Tzilis, incredible flow in the upper worlds, and the Or Ein Sof flowing into Chochmah V'Tzilis, Koyachmah. Then again, take it slow. I'm going fast a few now, but do it much slower on your own pace. Coming to the world of Bina. It's the world of Bina, flowing down from the Or Ein Sof, and the world of Atzilus, from Keter, Chachma, Bina. Purify your mind, your intellectual mind, and keep going all the way to Das, all the way to Chagat, all the way to Nahi, Netzach Hod Yesod, all the way to Malchus. Again and again. Already right now, just instructing this, teaching this over, I feel much more energized, much more spiritually turned on and fused with Das, not with energy, with Das, with consciousness, with Chias, not with Chi, with Chai, with Chias, with Shefa and Bracha. And that's what we shine out now through our sukkahs to the whole of the world, to sukkahs everywhere, to Yidden everywhere, to human beings everywhere, to the Tzelem Elokim everywhere. We become a channel through our sukkah to the whole of the world. I want you to try sitting in your sukkahs and try this avoda. This avoda to expand your das, to connect to the Tzelem Elokim, to fully realize that within, to be mindful that what you trigger below, Mida Keneged Mida, awakens that in the higher Elamas, and keep going around and round. Tell me what happens to your body, your feelings, what the experience is like for you. Some people will naturally open up to that. Some people naturally feel a healing effect from it. Some people will say, I can't feel it, it's not working. There's nothing to work. Just do it calmly. Say, I don't know why I'm doing this, I'm doing it anyway. Just go through the journey. Islam this. I'm very, very interested to hear your response. Thank you for sharing.